Hey guys, welcome to Kiwi Classics and Customs. This is our latest project we've had handed to us. Really nice 68 Mustang Fastback, and was a 289 4-speed car. Now it's getting this bad boy, which is a 427 block. It's been boarded, stroked. It's out over 500 cubic inches, just over 600 horse. So that's going to make a pleasant addition to this car. It went from its 210 horse that it had when it rolled in here. So yeah, it's a very nice engine by the look of it. I mean, those horsepower numbers are on the dyno. I've seen the dyno sheets, they're legit. So it's got everything it needs, all the serpentine front drive. We've swapped the pan on it to work with this new TCI front suspension that we've installed. Now, you've seen me do these before, so we didn't spend a lot of video time on this. Pretty straightforward installation. Obviously we cut the shock towers out, which gives us a ton of room. So the next trick is to swing it in. It's got, the kit comes with the engine mounts for the FE to work with this cross member and rack and pinion steering. So in theory it should be a bolt-in, but let's see if it is. We're going to swing this thing in and back in a second. As you can see, we got it in the hole. Looks pretty good. We're pretty tight on room at the front of this front drive setup. We've had the radiator in there, but it's like touching, so we need to find some room there, some clearance. But really, our biggest issue is the height. Time to get this air cleaner on here. Wants to go. Yeah, it's well up through the hood, but it is clearing everything with this with the Mustang 2 suspension in it, so which is kind of nice. But the problem we've got is that the customer wants this style hood scoop to go on here, and it's all just too high. The new plan is to kind of do like we did with that black Mustang and drop the engine down and slide it back. That's going to give us enough room. We should still, by my measuring as best as I can tell, we should be able to sneak it under here if we drop the engine an inch. And while we're doing that, we'll go back to give us rack clearance. That'll give us clearance at the front, so we'll kill two birds with one stone. And yeah, so what looked to be, what in theory is a, bolted in, wired up sender is really not. They have, they've made all the mounts and everything, it will work, and it does mount the engine on this front suspension. But what they don't do is make it also fit the rest of the car. They've set the engine up, you buy a set of mounts to go with it, and it mounts the engine to the cross member, and everything around the cross member clears, but it doesn't really work with everything else. Not to a point that, if you put a 3-inch cowl hood on it, that'd be fine. Customer doesn't want a Chevy style hood on his Mustang. He wants it to look like that. So I understand that. So yeah, it just means a couple of more hours work and a bit more fabricating. So yeah, we put it in. We've seen what we got to do, so now all we got to do is do it. So we're going to yank it out again and get cutting. Back in a second. Here we are in the engine bay. Cut a big piece out of the firewall. As you can see, it's basically that bulge that the Mustangs have in the firewall. It's lying down here now. So that's going to allow us to go back a couple of inches. That buys you like about 2.5 inches, depending just where you weld the new firewall in. Have cut the steering rack loose. Now, I know I'm probably going to catch a bit of flack from some of you guys, justifiably being concerned about bump steer. Now, that's the stock location as it comes, and I'm going to try and show you the rack is quite a long way back compared to the pickup point, like on the actual tie rod end. That's a better shot. You can kind of see the angle that that tie rod is actually sloping forward. What I'm going to do is bring this rack forward, and it's almost going to be dead straight. So if anything, what we're doing, it might be a little angled forward instead of a long way angled back, and that's going to give us a gap here which we can get the front bowl of the oil pan in. So yeah, if anything, I'm going to improve on any bump steer issues it may have. Certainly not detract from it. We may need to end up probably, my eye tells me about there, which as you can see it's angled a little forward, but compared to the stock location it's a big improvement in actual fact. So yeah. Okay, first part of making this new section of firewall is this little piece here, which is an extension of this inner fender here, because we're pushing the firewall back 2 inches, well, you know, that much. So this goes in here like that, which will, you know, then give us the shape that we need for the main section of the firewall replacement. I did bend a little 90 in this, and then use the shrinker stretcher here to give us the same profile that we have here. And I have made I've made a little pattern so we can match that shape onto the large section of firewall that we're going to make. So we'll quickly burn that in there, and then we'll get on to the rest of the firewall. Got this little piece welded in here, so we've kind of got an even area to put our main firewall panel in, which I've been working on. Now you can see it's all punched and ready to go. Now I just started with a rectangular sheet that was kind of going to be big enough to cover all of that, and then I've just kind of whittled it away, put a bit of curve on the top to match the curve here, worked that shape in here that matches that, rolled a little edge here. That's the tunnel, which is going to have to come up anyway. The bell housing is not going to clear at that height, so we've got to cut it up a little bit higher. But we're going to need the engine swung in and at the right height to determine that. I also did a bead roll in here because that's an awfully big flat area that's not that strong when it's flat. So yeah, did a bead roll in here, which looks quite nice. Just adds a little bit of finesse to it. That's going to go in there. And yeah, we bought ourselves about 2 1/4 inches. Yeah. So that's kind of worth the effort because we really needed that space. So I'm going to get welding on this and be back shortly. I've been busy, got all this welded in now, looking pretty good. Haven't welded it across here because we're going to be trimming some of that out for the bell housing. The other thing I've done is I've got the engine mounts modified, so we're going to have a quick test fit of the engine, make sure I've got those right and it's sitting where I want it, and at the same time we'll try and do it, you know, figure out just where we've got to cut this for the tunnel for the bell housing. I'm figuring probably kind of around here, just to give us some room, more or less. Hopefully a little bit straighter line than that, but hey, okay, so I'm going to swing the engine in, back in a second. And there it sits in the hole on its mounts. Now as you can see, we've got a ton of room for a radiator and fans. Back here we don't have quite so much room. It's a little snug, but you know, it's down just over an inch. We've got room, probably doesn't look at it at this angle, but there's room for the master cylinder. Already checked that clears by enough. Not more than enough, but enough. So yeah, now what I got to do is try and mark just how much more of a cut we've got to get to clear. Ooh, as you can see, you can kind of see if it'll focus. Let's try to focus on. There we go. So that stuff is kind of going to bury into the firewall. We don't have enough room for the bell housing there. So what I've got to do is try and make my best estimate for height and trim it out, take the engine back out, trim that out, and make what I'll do is I'll put the bell housing on the back of the motor, and then we'll swing it back in and see if we've got enough clearance for the bell housing as well as everything else. So these engine moves are not as simple as you might think. There's always lots of other things being affected as soon as you start messing with stuff. And then of course we've got the steering rack to deal with. So yeah, a little bit to do yet, but hey, that's hot rodding. It's gonna be good. This is a little bit of a bear to get in and out with just me. So I'm going to wait for old Steve to get in this afternoon, and we'll pull that engine again then and start cutting, and that's going to be kind of part 2 of this little adventure. So in the meantime, you guys have a good time. Hope you have got something out of that, and just watch this space. More to come. See you guys. Hey guys, welcome to Kiwi Classics and Customs. This is our latest project we've had handed to us. Really nice 68 Mustang Fastback, and was a 289 4-speed car. Now it's getting this bad boy, which is a 427 block. It's been boarded, stroked. It's out over 500 cubic inches, just over 600 horse. So that's going to make a pleasant addition to this car from its 210 horse that it had when it rolled in here. So yeah, it's a very nice engine by the look of it. I mean, those horsepower numbers are on the dyno. I've seen the dyno sheets, they're legit. So it's got everything it needs, all the serpentine front drive. We've swapped the pan on it to work with this new TCI front suspension that we've installed. Now you've seen me do these before, so we didn't spend a lot of video time on this. Pretty straightforward installation. Obviously we cut the shock towers out, which gives us a ton of room. So the next trick is to swing it in. The kit comes with the engine mounts for the FE to work with this cross member and rack and pinion steering. So in theory it should be a bolt-in, but let's see if it is. We're going to swing this thing in and back in a second.